in Renaissance Florence, stripped of his power, exiled. What he understood then, what most refuse to see even now, is that true control operates like a silent blade. They tell you influence is loud, a grand display of authority or charisma. This is a lie designed to keep you looking in the wrong direction, blind to the subtle cuts. Right now, you are leaking energy, losing ground, bleeding without a single visible wound because you haven't learned to recognize the silent tricks. The silent blade isn't wielded by dictators on a podium. It's used by the people around you, often the ones you trust most, in the quiet corners of your everyday life, having experienced the brutal reality, imperceptibly away from your own goals and into theirs. Niccolò Machiavelli, having experienced the brutal reality of lost power, knew that the loudest threats are rarely the most dangerous. The real threat is the one you do not detect until it's too late. This subtle manipulation works by shifting your frame, one tiny adjustment at a time. They don't demand, they suggest, they don't order, they imply. They don't confront, they just create an environment where your choices naturally align with their agenda. They pull your strings without you ever feeling the tension. Watch what happens when someone consistently forgets your boundaries, pushing a little further each time. They apologize, they play dumb, they frame it as an innocent mistake. But each time, they test your limits, and if you don't enforce them, they expand their territory. Your space shrinks, their influence grows. This is the steady, quiet erosion of your autonomy. Think about the friend who always needs your advice, right before your important meeting, draining your focus and time, or the colleague who praises your work in public but subtly undercuts your proposals in private. These are not overt attacks. They are small, tactical diversions that chip away at your resources and your standing, leaving you weaker without a clear enemy to fight. Here's how you start to disarm this silent weapon. Cultivate extreme awareness of patterns. Stop reacting to individual incidents. Instead, connect the dots. When someone forgets something repeatedly or always, needs something at an inconvenient time for you, don't dismiss it as coincidence. Look for the consistent outcome. If you announce your intentions to set a firm boundary, people will often push back directly. But if you simply, quietly begin to enforce that boundary through your actions, without explanation, there's nothing for them to openly resist. Understood that power is not just about Machiavelli. Understood that power is not just about what you do, but what you allow to be done to you. He saw that maintaining your position often required subtle, preemptive moves, not just brute force. What Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception," applies perfectly here. The most dangerous form of control is the one that operates beneath your radar, cloaked in familiarity or benign intention. What he understood is that the master strategist wins before the battle even begins, by shaping the battlefield itself, making the opponent's defeat seem like their own natural choice. Recognize that every interaction is a silent negotiation for power, even if you never speak of it. The person who always makes you wait, the one who always steers the conversation back to themselves, the one who subtly dismisses your ideas, they are all wielding the silent blade. They are testing, prodding, and taking ground. You aren't actively defending. The goal isn't to fight every battle, but to understand the terrain, to feel the blade before it cuts, to see the shadow before the strike. This initial awareness is your first line of defense against the unseen forces that seek to control your direction. But there's another insidious trick, one that disguises itself as generosity and cooperation. It's the invisible hook that binds you to their will, making you believe you owe them. What is it? Picture Louis XIV in absolutist France, a king who understood power like no other. He built Versailles not just as a palace, but as a gilded cage, a constant theater of observation. Every whisper was heard, every move watched, but crucially, information from the king was a carefully rationed commodity. What Louis XIV truly mastered was not just brute force, but a subtler, more pervasive weapon, the information famine. This is not just about keeping secrets. It's about controlling the flow, creating an environment where certainty is a luxury, and everyone depends on you for their next truth. This famine destroys you by forcing you into a reactive, desperate state. When critical details are withheld, when the path ahead is obscured, you cannot plan, you cannot strategize. You are left guessing, second-guessing every choice, while the one holding the map dictates your movements, your priorities, and ultimately, your direction. They create confusion, a thick fog that paralyzes initiative. Think about the boss who never gives clear instructions, always leaving projects open-ended, shifting goalposts without warning, or the friend who shares half-truths, hinting at problems but never detailing them, drawing you into their drama without full context. These situations create a constant low hum of anxiety. You spend your energy trying to decipher their cryptic signals, exhausting yourself in a futile attempt to fill the void of missing data. Here's how you deploy this silent weapon. You don't lie, not directly. You simply omit, you defer, you generalize, you present just enough to keep them engaged, but never enough to make them truly independent. When asked for specifics, you pivot to broader concepts or promise details that never fully materialize. You become the gatekeeper of their understanding, the sole source of clarity in their manufactured fog. If you loudly announce your plans, your intentions, your resources, people will immediately seek ways to counter them, to dilute them, to steal them. Your strength becomes a target. But if you quietly operate, if your true capabilities and limits remain ambiguous, there's nothing solid for them to push against. There's no easy point of attack, only uncertainty. Louis XIV understood this perfectly. He kept his courtiers in a perpetual state of respectful uncertainty, making them reliant on his favor, his pronouncements, his very presence to understand their own standing and the shifting currents of power. He famously operated through an intricate web of spies and informers, gathering every detail while revealing almost nothing. This meant no one could truly conspire against him without feeling like they were moving in the dark, without knowing if their own closest confidant was an agent of the king. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary swordsman, echoed this sentiment in the Book of Five Rings, advising to do nothing that is of no use. For Musashi, every action, every revealed intention, every word was a potential weakness, a piece of information that could be turned against you. The master of strategy knows the power of silence, the strength in the unsaid, the control in the unspoken. What happens is a slow erosion of their confidence, replaced by an increasing dependence on your input. Their decision-making muscles atrophy. They wait for your nod, your hint, your single drop of information to quench their thirst. The less they know, the more they need you, transforming their autonomy into a fragile, conditional state. This isn't about outright deception. It's about strategic opacity. It's about ensuring that the lens through which they view reality is always subtly controlled by your hand. You manage their expectations by managing their perception. You create a power imbalance where their need for clarity becomes your invisible chain. But there's another layer to this control, a trick that plays on their deepest desires for acceptance and belonging. It's the silent manipulation that turns your weaknesses into their strengths, making you feel indebted for simply being seen. What is it? This is the subtle manipulation, that turns your perceived needs into their silent chains. It is the indebted mind, the careful orchestration of obligations, where every favor extended is a strategic investment in your future compliance. They don't demand loyalty, they simply make you feel like you owe it. Picture Andrew Carnegie in Gilded Age America, meticulously building his steel empire. He didn't just sell steel. He bought the iron ore mines, the coal fields, the railroads, even the ships. He didn't ask for favors from suppliers, he eliminated them, creating a self-sufficient system. What Andrew Carnegie understood is that true power comes from making others dependent on you, not the other way around. He engineered a world where his competitors, his customers, even the very infrastructure of industry became silently indebted to his integrated machine. This is why they offer a hand when you're down, not out of pure altruism, but to gain silent ownership. They solve a problem for you, provide a critical connection, or offer a timely loan not because they are selfless, but because they are calculating. Every act of kindness becomes a line item in an invisible ledger, a credit they can call upon later. They want you to remember their help, to feel that quiet pressure, to reciprocate, to stand by them when they need you, even if it goes against your own interests. Watch what happens when you accept too many unsolicited favors. The initial relief turns into a subtle weight. They might not ask for anything immediately, but the expectation hangs in the air. When they finally do call in that favor, it's rarely a fair exchange. It's always tilted in their direction, a small request that feels big because of the debt you carry. You find yourself doing things you wouldn't normally do, compromising your time, your values, your boundaries, all to pay down a debt you never explicitly agreed to incur. Here's how you recognize and disarm this tactic. Observe the giver. Is their help purely selfless, or is there an underlying agenda? If they offer something too good, too quickly, without clear boundaries, be wary. True support empowers you. Silent debt enslaves you. If someone genuinely helps, they do so without expectation, without keeping score. The ones who seek to control you, however, always have their scorecards ready. If you loudly announce your needs, you invite vultures. They swoop in, offer what seems like aid, then bind you with invisible strings. But if you quietly solve your own problems, you deny them the opportunity to place you in their debt. You maintain your independence. You keep your options open. Your freedom remains untainted. The Roman philosopher Seneca warned about the weight of obligation, noting that some benefits are given not to help, but to burden. What he understood is that not all gifts are truly gifts. Some are hooks disguised as kindness, meant to pull you into someone else's sphere of influence. He differentiated between a true benefactor and someone who merely sets a trap, ensuring you remain forever bound by the perceived generosity of their hand. But the indebted mind is only one layer of control. There's another, more insidious trick they play, one that weaponizes your very aspirations against you. What is it? It's called curated reality. This is when they control the information you receive, shaping your worldview until you see only what they want you to see. They filter the facts, amplify certain voices, and silence others, building a mental cage around your perception. You become a prisoner in a reality designed by someone else, making choices that serve their agenda, not your own. Picture Otto von Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor, architect of a unified Germany. It's 1870. Tensions with France are boiling over. A telegram arrives detailing a diplomatic exchange between the Prussian king and the French ambassador. The king's response was measured, even conciliatory. But Otto von Bismarck saw an opportunity, not a resolution. He knew that to achieve his goal of war and unification, he had to warp the public's perception. He edited the EMS dispatch. He cut words, he sharpened phrases, he twisted the tone, transforming a polite conversation into an insult hurled at France and an insult received by Prussia. He didn't invent a lie, he merely curated the truth. The published version, brief and inflammatory, spread like wildfire across both nations. The German public, enraged, demanded war, The French public, equally insulted, demanded retribution. This is how they destroy you. When your reality is curated by external forces, your decisions are no longer truly yours. You operate on their script, reacting to their manufactured provocations, fighting their battles. They control your anger, your fear, your aspirations. You become a predictable pawn, moving across a board they designed, seeing only the pieces they allow you to see. Your agency, your free will, drains away, replaced by programmed responses. Think about the narratives pushed in your news feeds, your social circles, the entertainment you consume. They don't tell you what to think. They tell you what to think about. They select the heroes and the villains. They define the problems and the solutions. They isolate anyone who dares to present a different perspective, labeling them as outsiders, as threats to the curated peace. This constant filtered input creates a consensus, a shared delusion that feels like truth. Here's how you combat this. You must actively deconstruct the information streams entering your mind. Assume every piece of data is filtered, every story has an agenda. Seek out dissenting voices, not to agree with them, but to understand the full spectrum of opinion. Question the obvious. When Otto von Bismarck manipulated the MS Dispatch, he proved that people don't react to objective facts. They react to their version of facts, especially when that version is emotionally charged and validated by their tribe. If you blindly accept the reality presented to you, you become a cog in someone else's machine. You parrot their talking points, you defend their positions. But if you take control of your own mental inputs, if you diversify your sources and cultivate independent thought, you become an unmovable force. There is nothing they can project onto you, no manufactured outrage they can ignite. If you refuse to engage with their false reality, you simply build your own, quiet and impenetrable. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, understood the profound power of shared symbols and stories that live deep within the collective human mind. He explored how these universal archetypes could be activated and manipulated to sway entire populations, creating a powerful, almost unconscious allegiance to a specific worldview. What he understood is that a curated reality doesn't just work on the surface, it taps into the primal currents of the human psyche. They want you to live in their carefully constructed world, reacting to their cues. They want you to believe their version of truth, to feel their manufactured emotions. When you break free from this, you become unpredictable, uncontrollable. Your actions cease to be reactions and become deliberate strikes. But escaping the curated reality is only half the battle. There's another, more subtle trap they set, one that forces you to constantly chase their approval, draining your spirit with every step. What is it? They call it engineered turmoil. Picture Julius Caesar in ancient Rome, standing at the Rubicon. His choice wasn't just about crossing a river, it was about tearing down the existing order to rebuild it in his image. What he understood is that true control often comes not from maintaining peace, but from introducing chaos, a calculated instability designed to exhaust your opposition and leave them begging for a solution only you can provide. This tactic destroys you by turning your allies against each other, creating internal conflicts that bleed your resources and focus. Someone introduces a subtle provocation, a new rule, a whispered rumor, knowing it will spark outrage and suspicion. Suddenly, you are not united against the external threat. You are fighting among yourselves, trying to understand who is on whose side, who benefits from the new confusion. They don't need to defeat you directly. They just need you to defeat yourselves. Watch what happens when a team leader creates a new vague performance metric, knowing it will cause fear and competition. Think about the family member who always brings up old grievances at holiday dinners, ensuring no one can truly relax. The air becomes thick with tension, with blame, with suspicion. Everyone watches their back, expending mental energy on internal battles instead of constructive work. They want you distracted, divided, weakened. Here's how you identify the dark strategy at play. They introduce a wedge, a small problem, a subtle provocation into your environment. They don't resolve it. They don't even participate. They step back, observing the ensuing disarray. They let the infighting fester, let the uncertainty spread, let the rumors multiply. They wait for you to exhaust yourselves, fighting the manufactured enemy or each other. Fools try to calm the waters. They mediate, they explain, they seek common ground. But the architect of the turmoil doesn't want peace. They want exhaustion. They want you to drain your resources, your patience, your trust in each other. They want a vacuum. If you react to their chaos, you become another pawn in their game, playing by rules designed to ensure your defeat. Julius Caesar didn't just cross the Rubicon. He forced a choice. He didn't ask for permission. He created an undeniable situation that shattered the existing republic and demanded a new order. By generating that crisis, by introducing a profound, undeniable instability, he cleared the board for his own ascent. He showed that you sometimes have to break things to truly own them, that the very act of creating turmoil can be a powerful lever of control. But the masters of this game don't always create the chaos themselves. Sometimes they merely exploit it. Napoleon Bonaparte knew this better than anyone. He often capitalized on the existing chaos of the French Revolution, positioning himself as the one who could bring order to the madness. He famously understood that, in times of great upheaval, people crave stability, and whoever can provide it, even after subtly prolonging the instability, gains immense power. He let the various factions fight themselves into irrelevance, then stepped in as the indispensable leader. The true defense against engineered turmoil isn't to join the fight, but to refuse to participate in their manufactured drama. Identify the source of the subtle agitation. Is it a manipulative comment, a new policy designed to cause friction, an unseen hand stirring discontent? Do not engage directly with the turmoil itself. Address the orchestrator of the chaos, or, better yet, remove yourself from the board entirely if you can. Your energy is too valuable to waste on their puppet show. When you refuse to engage, when you refuse to be drawn into the internal squabbles they provoke, their tactic loses its power. They want you flailing in their artificial storm, begging for their intervention. But when you stand firm amidst the waves they created, when you refuse to drown, their power over you evaporates. You become the anchor they cannot move. This kind of engineered turmoil often goes hand in hand with another silent trick, the subtle manipulation of your perceived value. They want you to believe your worth is conditional, that your resources are limited. What is this trick, and how do they make you believe it? They want you to believe your worth is conditional, that your resources are limited. This belief is often forged not through direct statements, but through a masterclass in controlled information, a silent trick known as anticipation's grip. It is the art of making them wait, making them guess, keeping them perpetually off balance, adapting to your unseen rhythm. The moment you become predictable, you become a target, easily boxed in, easily contained. Anticipations grip and snares you by weaponizing the unknown. They leave breadcrumbs, hints of future moves, never the full picture, forcing you to invest mental energy into forecasting their next play. Your focus shifts from your own agenda to theirs, your decisions becoming reactions to phantom threats or imagined opportunities. You are always playing catch-up, always reacting. Watch what happens when someone consistently holds their cards close, when their actions appear sudden yet decisive. Think about the way a company dominates a market, not by announcing every minor update, but by dropping game-changing innovations that stun competitors. Their silence becomes a weapon, their unpredictability a shield. Picture Elon Musk in the modern tech arena, a master of this very game. When he unveiled Starship, it wasn't a gradual leak of specifications or a cautious market test. It was a bold declaration of intent, an audacious vision dropped into the public consciousness. He kept everyone, from competitors to critics, guessing for years, then presented a near-complete future. This move created a shockwave, forcing others to react to a reality they hadn't anticipated. This is anticipation's grip in action. Elon Musk understood that revealing too much, too soon, drains your strategic advantage. It gives your adversaries time to prepare, time to counter, time to steal your momentum. Instead, he cultivated a potent mix of secrecy and grand vision, ensuring that when he did move, it felt like an unavoidable future. He didn't just build a rocket, he built an expectation. Here's how you cultivate this power for yourself. Control the information flow, never the full story. Offer glimpses, not blueprints. Let them speculate, let them imagine the possibilities, but never confirm their assumptions. Your next move should be a quiet action, a subtle shift, not a grand pronouncement. Announce your arrival only after you have already breached their defenses. If you announce your intentions, your competition will mobilize, your detractors will strategize, your allies might even second-guess you. But if you quietly execute, if you let the results speak for themselves, there is nothing for them to fight against but the accomplished fact. Their resistance becomes futile, their arguments hollow. What Socrates understood centuries ago was the power of uncertainty, not just in knowledge, but in interaction. His method wasn't to declare truths, but to ask questions, to expose the gaps in others' understanding, leaving them to grapple with their own ignorance. He didn't tell them what he knew. He showed them what they didn't. This subtle manipulation of information, this controlled reveal, places the burden of understanding and adaptation squarely on their shoulders. This kind of calculated unpredictability often leaves people grasping for clarity, leading them straight into another silent trick. They become desperate for answers, for definitions, for certainty. What is this next silent trap? And how do they use your need for clarity against you? Picture Queen Elizabeth in Elizabethan England. The kingdom's weight pressed on her. Mary, Queen of Scots, a constant threat. She never directly ordered the execution. History says she signed the warrant, then famously claimed she did not intend its delivery. Yet it was delivered. Mary was executed. This was not a failure of command, but a masterclass in unspoken orders. This is insidious control. No direct command is ever issued. Your actions are guided by implication, by expectation, by the sheer pressure of their silent gaze. They don't tell you what to do. They create a climate where you know what they want and you deliver it. You become a puppet, pulling your own strings. It drains your autonomy. It forces constant second-guessing. You read invisible cues, anticipate desires never articulated. You spend mental energy deciphering ghost commands. You fear breaking unwritten rules. Not because the rule is clear, but because misinterpretation's consequences feel real. Think about your workplace leader. They never assign tasks directly, yet everyone knows what needs to be done for them. The project nobody explicitly greenlit, but everyone works on it because the boss once mused about its potential. A subtle shift in posture, a brief glance, a pregnant pause, these are all signals. Or consider the friend who subtly steers the group. They don't say, "We should go here." Instead, they express mild disinterest in other options, or highlight one appealing feature of their preferred choice, then wait. The group senses the unspoken preference, coalesces. You agree, not because you want to, but because it feels like the path of least resistance. To wield this yourself, never state your intent directly. Establish clear expectations through consistent behavior. Create a context. Let your preferences be known through your actions, what you praise or ignore. Let your presence alone communicate what is acceptable, what is valued. Queen Elizabeth I grasped this with Mary, Queen of Scots. Her warrant signature, followed by feigned regret, sent a clear message. The court understood. The Queen wanted Mary gone, but with deniability. Courtiers, eager to please, acted. They followed the ghost command. Watch their eyes, watch their body language, listen to what they don't say, The gaps, the avoided topics, pay attention to what they reward or punish indirectly. A sudden coldness, a withdrawal, a shift in tone, indicators of an unspoken order violated. If you constantly demand explicit instructions, you appear weak. You force their hand, making their power visible. They will resent this. You give them nothing to hide behind. They will label you difficult, inefficient, or dense. But if you quietly observe the unspoken, you gain critical insight. You can comply or subtly subvert. Acknowledge the ghost command, then respond in a way that serves your agenda. Create your own unspoken counterorders through consistent, subtle actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." What he understood is that your perception of an unspoken order dictates its power. Your internal interpretation, your fear, gives it weight. They give you a silent command, but your mind translates it into obligation. You can dismiss it, you can act clueless, you can do nothing, letting the unspoken expectation create awkwardness for them. The moment you realize the command isn't real until you make it real, you regain control. Queen Elizabeth, thy new absolute power, hides behind plausible deniability. She kept her hands clean, her will enacted. This is ultimate control, getting others to do your bidding, then letting them believe it was their idea, or that you had nothing to do with it. Nothing leaks, nothing drains, everything compounds. This silent command structure is powerful, but there's a deeper control. Not about what they want you to do, but who they want you to do, but who they want you to be. What is this identity trap, and how do they use your self-perception against you? The true identity trap is called the empathy feint. They don't want you to be something specific. They want to know who you are so they can dismantle it. This is the oldest trick. They pretend to understand. They offer comfort. They mirror your pain. And all the while, they are just digging for the vulnerabilities you keep hidden. This feigned connection is a weapon designed to make you drop your guard, to open yourself up to someone who has no intention of keeping you safe. Picture Cesare Borgia in Renaissance Italy, consolidating his power. He faced a coalition of mercenary captains who had betrayed him, formidable men who thought they could defy him. Instead of open war, Cesare Borgia offered reconciliation. He invited them to Senegalia, promising peace, a new alliance. He made them feel heard, made them believe their grievances were understood, that their shared future was more important than past conflicts. This was the ultimate empathy feint, a masterclass in psychological warfare. They will listen to your stories, nod sympathetically, and offer words that echo your own feelings. They want you to believe they are on your side, that they share your burdens. This false rapport is a magnet for your secrets, for your insecurities, for the things you tell no one else. You feel a connection, a relief, a sense of being truly seen. This feeling is the bait. They are not listening to comfort you. They are listening to collect data. Watch what happens when you pour out your heart to someone who performs this feint. They will catalog your every weakness, every insecurity, every past trauma you reveal. They will remember the slights you confessed, the dreams you shared, the fears that keep you awake at night. All of it is filed away, waiting for the perfect moment to be deployed against you. They are not building a bridge. They are mapping your mental landscape, identifying the fault lines. Here's how you disarm this silent attack. Understand that genuine empathy is rare and easily faked. When someone offers understanding too quickly, too perfectly, or without any real reciprocal exchange, question their motive. True connection develops over time, through shared experience, through mutual vulnerability. The feint is one-sided. They want you to reveal everything, but they offer nothing of substance in return. They will deflect, they will generalize, they will keep their own hand hidden while urging you to show yours. If you announce your boundaries, if you state your expectations, people will respect them, or they will leave. But if you quietly guard your inner world, if you reveal your true self, only to those who have proven their loyalty and earned your trust over years, there's nothing for the fenter to latch onto. They cannot exploit what they do not know. Cesare Borgia understood that a perceived ally with a secret agenda is far more dangerous than an open enemy. His captains walked willingly into their trap, convinced by his show of brotherhood, and were cut down without a fight. This is why Sigmund Freud taught that the human mind is a battlefield of hidden desires and fears, often unknown even to the individual. What he understood is that if you can map that terrain for another person, if you can identify their unconscious drivers, their unfulfilled needs, their deepest wounds, you hold the strategic advantage. The empathy feint is precisely that, a clinical exploration of your inner world, not to help you, but to control you. They will use what they learned against you, subtly manipulating your choices, steering you toward their goals. They will trigger your insecurities, play on your hopes, or exploit your fears, all while maintaining their facade of understanding. This is control from the inside out, making you believe your actions are your own, when in reality, they are orchestrated by the data you freely provided. This silent psychological weapon is potent because it bypasses your defenses. You think you're connecting, you think you're being understood, but you're just revealing the blueprints of your mind. It's an intellectual ambush. But there's another subtle trick, one that turns your own sense of justice against you, making you police yourself. What is this invisible whip, and how do they make you their enforcer? The invisible whip is your own conscience, hijacked. They don't need to control you externally. When they can program your internal governor, they plant the seeds of self-doubt and self-regulation, turning your values against your own advantage. Your ethical code becomes a cage, built and reinforced by your own hand, but designed by another. Picture Genghis Khan in the vast, unforgiving Mongol Empire, facing disparate, warring tribes. He did not simply conquer, he imposed a singular, unyielding vision. He built a system where every man knew his place and purpose, a new architecture of power. This was not persuasion, this was the architect's will, brutally enforced, radically transformative. Your world, like the Mongol plains, is a battleground of wills. If you do not assert your own, another's will becomes your destiny. They will subtly define your acceptable actions, your reasonable boundaries, your fair share. You will find yourself retreating, compromising and justifying, all within the lines they drew for you. Watch what happens when you internalize their unspoken rules. You censor your own ambitions. You quiet your own desires. You police your reactions, not for your benefit, but to maintain their comfort or power. This self-inflicted restraint is the ultimate control, quiet and insidious. Here's how you seize back the reins. Become the architect of your own will. Define your code, your non-negotiables, your vision for your life. Genghis Khan unified the tribes by giving them a new, shared purpose, stripping away their old identities and replacing them with his singular design. What he understood is that a vacuum of purpose invites external impositions. If you announce your intentions, people will try to derail them, to dilute them, to make them serve their own ends. But if you quietly build your empire of self, one brick at a time, there's nothing for them to attack. This is why silence is a shield and a sword. Your declared goals are vulnerabilities. Your unstated, relentless pursuit is an unstoppable force. You become inscrutable, your trajectory unknown, your power compounding in the shadows. Consider Alexander the Great, who reportedly said, "I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion." What he meant was the will of the leader dictates the fate of the collective. Your will dictates your personal empire. They want you to be a sheep, compliant, self-policing. They want you to believe their rules are the only rules. Your task is to become the lion, leading yourself, dictating your own terms. This is not about cruelty, it is about sovereignty. These silent tricks, from engineered confusion to weaponized vulnerability, from baiting your ego to hijacking your conscience, are constant currents in the social ocean. They pull at you, drain you, and redirect your energy. Your power lies in recognizing these currents. It lies in understanding that most interactions are not genuine exchanges, but subtle contests of will. You are either the architect or the material for someone else's construction. Genghis Khan did not ask for permission to redefine the world. He simply did it. He forged a new order from chaos, not by consent, but by conviction. He silenced dissent by making his vision the only viable path. This is your ultimate lesson. Build your inner empire with an iron will. Define your boundaries, protect your energy, and assert your terms without explanation or apology. Let your silent actions speak louder than any proclaimed intent. The world is not waiting for your explanation. It is waiting for your command. Be the architect of your own will.